Joining us this evening are our guests, Rajiv Dogra, former diplomat, joining us from Delhi. Good evening, Mr. Dogra. Retired General Shankar Roy Chaudhary. Good evening, sir. Former Army Chief. And he's joining us from Kolkata. Brigadier V. Mahalingam joining us from Delhi, defense analyst. Also, good evening to Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, who joins us from Karachi. Good evening, Air Vice Marshal. And we are also waiting for Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed to join us from Islamabad in a short while from now. But the first question to Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao. Here is a man who's being tried for treason. Here is a man who should be tried again for saying he's a Sindhi first, Pakistani later. India is not going to take him seriously. Will Pakistan?
Well, he's being tried for treason not because of doing anything against Pakistan. That's an internal matter. People call it a political revenge because he overthrew a political government. Under Article 6, he's being tried. And I don't think there is much strength in the case against him. But anyway, time will show that. He is an army general. He has commanded Pakistan Army. He has been the president of Pakistan for 9 years. And he knows his strength. He knows India's strength. And he has debated Kashmir issue with two very honorable Prime Ministers of India, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Mr. Manmohan Singh. And both have agreed that there is a problem that needs to be resolved. 3 of them are still alive. 3 of them have confirmed that they were very close to a solution when their term finished in their offices. Now, India, for last, say, few months, is in a greater sense of denial by reacting to the word that Kashmir is a problem. I don't want to go into details of the history, but I have refreshed my knowledge on Kashmir issue by a book written by Jaswant Singh, India at Risk. He has, in a very neutral manner, described the behavior of the two governments and their wrong handling of the situation, that a problem continues 67, 68 years after the independence. Now, Pervez Musharraf is not irrelevant. Bilawal Bhutto is not persona non grata. Our Prime Minister is also, I mean, I am hearing this word at Indian media that he was snubbed by the Indian Prime Minister. I think that's a very poor description of the speeches of 2 Prime Ministers. Mr. Narendra Modi also admitted that Kashmir issue is a bilateral issue. Right. That means there is an issue, but that is a bilateral issue. No, so our army chief or your army chief can make any hostile statement and you should not react because armies see each other as enemies.
With all due respect, and I'm going to bring in our other guests also on this, the issue is not about what is relevant and what is not relevant. It is about who is ranting and who is raising this scare rhetoric. Pervez Musharraf is at a time when he does not know whether he can leave the country or not, and Rajiv Dogra
say the same thing.
Yeah, I'll come across to you on that also, and we will take this discussion forward. There are relevant issues, but are these relevant people who are talking and who are raising this issue? Rajiv Dogra, Subramanian Swamy, has he called Pervez Musharraf's bluff when he says he's an intelligent man and he's playing politics? He's raking this issue only to play politics in Pakistan.
Well, I hope he is an intelligent man. If he was really intelligent, then he wouldn't have come back to Pakistan knowing that there's a charge of murder and a charge of sedition against him. In fact, his own army decided to abandon him. General Kayani refused to touch him. But then there are other veterans like Hamid Gul, the former ISI chief, who goes on openly bad-mouthing Pervez Musharraf. But what is really worrying for Pakistan and also for India, and here I'll just digress a little, and I would really not take seriously our guest from Pakistan because he's an honorable man, he's an honorable military man, and he has to defend a former army chief. So I wouldn't take his defense seriously. But what worries me greatly is the advantage that Pervez Musharraf is taking of his friend's brother, his friend who died in 1971 war, again called Mr. Sharif, his friend's brother who happens to be the current army chief. He seems to be doing backseat driving for the current army chief, and that is dangerous. That is dangerous for the Pakistan army, and that is dangerous for Pakistan-India relations, because Musharraf would want to raise up the temperature so that the attention gets diverted from him and his cases have an easier handling. That is his single point agenda as far as his own stay in Pakistan is concerned, that somehow his cases get dismissed. That is why he's raising the temperature.
Mr. Dogra, just pause there and we'll go across to Shafqat Saeed, who also joins us from Islamabad. So very clearly, Pervez Musharraf is playing politics. And no matter, you have on record with me on this show, Colonel Shafqat Saeed said there was no military involvement as far as Kargil conflict was concerned. Pakistani military involvement was not there at all. You have said this on record here. And here you have Pervez Musharraf. How are you going to defend a man who says it was a military success which turned into a political defeat? So here you have your ex-president saying, yes, the Pakistan military was involved in the Kargil conflict. Now, how do we take this man seriously when he says Kashmir is in national interest?
Say Pakistan army was not involved in a war. There's a war between Pakistan and Indian armed forces in Kargil. How do you say that Pakistan army was not involved in that? And your rhetoric of that army is managing everything and Pervez Musharraf is doing backseat driving, this is irrelevant. And I think Pervez Musharraf saying...
How is it irrelevant, sir? How is it irrelevant?
Army spokesman. He is no more, he has, the only connection that he has with army is that he is an ex-army chief. And now he's in politics. Like
isn't army and the backing of the army the real reason why he even dared to come back to Pakistan in the first place? Whether it is a mistake or not is the other question. And now he's trying to bat for the army and become the army's mouthpiece so that he hopes that will help him stay away from the courts, because the courts are going to take him to trial. The hearing is scheduled.
No, with this. No, sorry. I don't agree with this because he has nothing to do with the opinion of the army. And for example, the things keep happening and you see that wherever you can coin your concept and your motives there, you start saying things trying to malign Pakistan army. This is not correct. Pakistan army has nothing to do with...
Sir, 10 violations in 4 days ceasefire. The shelling has happened on our people on this side of the border from Pakistan. It is civilians. 1 girl, 10 people have been injured. And your ex-president says that don't test the Pakistan army's resolve. Now, how do you take that seriously, sir? And Brigadier Marlinga, well, I'm just going to bring in our other guests also, Colonel Shafqat Saeed, so please bear with me. I will come back to you.
I will answer this question.
Yeah, go ahead, sir, first. I'll go to Brigadier Marlinga after that. Yes, Colonel Shafqat Saeed. Yeah.
I am speaking to you on this media, which does not report any casualties which take place on Pakistani side. There were about 2-3 deaths and 7-8 injured ones in a border violation on the working boundary opposite Sialkot and between Sialkot and Jammu. There was no mention of Pakistani casualties on any of Indian channel. So this is one side reporting.
No, it is not.
You should be on the casualties which take place between, and this is a routine activity on the LOC. Please don't create alarm on this. It is a ceasefire.
We will create, Colonel Shafqat Saeed, ceasefire violations are ceasefire violations. And if the shelling is happening, up to 120 mm of shelling is happening from that and from that side, it is a serious matter. And why is it happening only on these last 4 days? Why is it happening just before the winter sets in, Brigadier Marlingam? Isn't there a sinister effort? Are we sending people across the border to foment terror on Pakistani soil, or is it vice versa?
Absolutely no. I would like to put certain things on record. The Pakistani...
Shafqat Sahab, I'll come across to you. Please wait on. Please wait on. Yeah. Yes,
I would like to put certain things on record. Pakistan Colonel just now mentioned that the war was between Pakistan Army and Indian Army. The Pakistan Army kept telling right through the Kargil war that it was a war between the Pakistani Mujahideen and Indian Army, to that extent that Pakistan Army refused to even take the dead bodies of the Pakistan soldiers who were lying there. He cannot deny that. Secondly, let me remind him that as far as this thing is concerned, Musharraf is concerned, Admiral Bukhari, who was the chief of the naval staff at that point in time, has openly demanded that Musharraf should be tried by a tri-court-martial or by a tri-service court-martial. This is what he has demanded. Now, as far as the Pakistan's this thing is concerned, let me very categorically say the Bilawal Bhutto was trying to get an entry into politics, whereas Bhutto is trying to get an exit from India both by trying to become popular with the masses and trying to fool them in the bargain. That precisely is what is happening.
Right. Colonel Shafkat Saeed and Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, I will come across to you. Please wait on. I just need to bring in, General Shankar Roy Chaudhary. He's been patient enough all this while to listen to all the others. General Saab, your reaction to what Pervez Musharraf has said, and does he have any locus standi? One. And two, should we allow such people to continue ranting like this just so that they remain relevant in Pakistani politics and within the Pakistani system, or to further their own gains, this India bashing? Should it be tolerated?
Indian bashing.
See, Pervez Musharraf has this old habit of shooting off his mouth. And I don't think one should pay any attention to what he says. He keeps saying different things at different times, even when he was in the service. So, this chap, Pervez Musharraf, as a brigadier, he attacked Siachen 3 times. He had heavy casualties on all 3 occasions. And in any other army, he would have been sacked. I do not know what the internal politics of the Pakistan army were at that time, but Musharraf was allowed to continue. Why is for the Pakistan and the Pakistan army to go into? My contention is, of course, one should get no credence to what General Musharraf is saying, and what these gentlemen were speaking about backseat driving may or may not be correct. I am not in the know. But my concern is, why are these incidents happening at this time? Why at this time? Why at this time, especially when the vultures are gathering? You've got ISIS, you've got Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, and you've got Al-Qaeda setting up shop in India. So why are these incidents happening at this particular time? Is there something behind it? I think people should go into it. It's not a mere ceasefire violation as it appears to be. If people get shot at, they will shoot back. That's been happening for a long time. But is there any deeper significance of these incidents happening at this time when the vultures are gathering visibly in Pakistan? And
very relevant question, sir. Very relevant question you've raised. Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao and Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed, I'll come across to you. First, Air Vice Marshal, go ahead, please. You had a point to make, and also, do you agree or disagree with the timing of these ceasefire violations happening? Well, if there is shelling, there will be return fire.
Okay, first of all, if the Indian stance is only to be projected at media like this, then I would suggest one thing, that if India is so sincere about peace, let a third party say who fires the first bullet at the LOC. We have the UN observers. India declines to give them any place. India makes the accusation, believes itself, and wants us to believe that. We have done it for a long time. Now let's get serious about it. And I have a lot of regard for General Shankar Roy and his opinion. I respect that. If we both want peace, there is a way. But if it is through this kind of bashing and one-sided allegations, we will reach nowhere except provoking each other more and more at the border. You see, if you think Mr. Bilawal Bhutto, Mr. Pervez Musharraf want to gain relevance by raising Kashmir, then you should also understand that it is because Kashmir is an issue with every you talk to anybody on the street, they will tell you that it is an unresolved issue. Whatever way it gets settled, it may not be the type which Pakistan expected in 1948. It may be division, it may be resting at your own side along the LOC, but let's come to some agreement. By accusation, the fact that you have 500,000 strong army there means there is some problem that you all see. On 26 January, on 15th August, there is a shutdown strike in Kashmir. Who does that? Is it Pakistan?
No,
is it
who influences
somebody else?
that? It is
so
Pakistan.
There is an issue.
Who backs that? It is Pakistan. Sir,
you believe that. You believe that.
Absolutely. Sir, there is support.
There is.
Sir,
there
you cannot deny.
Army,
You cannot deny. You cannot deny that the support, the terror camps, the people who get training to try and foster militancy, it is happening in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and they do it brazenly. And Pakistan is not doing anything to curb that. So the establishment, be it the army, the government is not doing enough. So in that case, when you have an ex-president coming back and saying...
This is what you are saying. What if I don't believe it? I am saying that let a third party decide. If you don't trust us, we don't trust you.
We also hope that the people of Pakistan don't believe somebody like Pervez Musharraf. They don't believe somebody who says that I'm a Sindhi before I'm a Pakistani, and he stands there and talks about national interest. Because he's putting his own origins first before the country itself. So why will somebody take him seriously? That's the other question, sir.
People have the wisdom to judge a relevant leader from an irrelevant leader. So leave that to internal dynamics of Pakistan. And but the fact is that if there is a problem, let the local army commanders meet, let Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Sir, those meetings happen. But what happens is soon after the flag meet, there is a ceasefire violation. Now that is what is happening. So we don't know who is not serious or who does not want to talk at all. Or is it that somebody says let's talk and there is somebody else who says no, there is no way there can be talk. There's no way there can be any ceasefire. It has to be violated because our men have to be pushed through.
Pakistan is, believe me, if Pakistanis and Indians meet regularly, these groups will get defeated on their own.
Sir, you said Pakistanis and Indians.
I'm serious.
Separatists don't count in that. So then Pakistan has to choose who they want to meet.
They don't count.
Sir, on that note, please hold your thoughts. Brigadier Malingam, General Shankar Roy Chaudhary, Colonel Shafqat Saeed, please hold your thoughts. I have to take a short break. We'll pick it up after the break. Back on, and I thank all our guests who have stayed on. We were picking up the discussion, and we'll pick it up from where we led off. Lieutenant Colonel Shafqat Saeed, Pervez Musharraf has also said that Kashmir is an issue of national interest for Pakistan. Why isn't he talking about anything else which is the nation's interest? Why isn't he talking about cracking down on those who openly owe their allegiance to groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS? Why isn't he saying that people of Pakistan need to be protected from those people? How has he forgotten all of that? Those are not issues. This is a nice popular one with the people, so let's talk about it.
Look, recently there was a UN General Assembly meeting in which both the Prime Minister addressed the Assembly, and then in recent past there have been cancellation of secretary-level dialogue, and the build-up of these statements is very correct. Now it is not that it was Sunday and they started, but it is not out of place what Bilawal Bhutto said, what Pervez Musharraf is saying, or what the spokesman for the Foreign Ministry of Pakistan said. It is in sequence and relevance. Now, remember one thing, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif exactly represented their own country's national point of view, saying that Nawaz Sharif was snubbed by Mr. Narendra Modi, or Mr. Nawaz Sharif let the cat out of the bag, or he did something very strange. No, both of them did very normal things. They presented their own national stand on an issue that is an issue between the countries.
Right, Colonel Shafqat Saeed. Colonel Shafqat Saeed, both Prime Ministers presented a point of view. We don't need to run around in circles on this. India has said, make the atmosphere conducive, we will talk. Pakistan says Kashmir is an issue, needs to be debated. Yes, we will debate it. But the fact is, it was your own person in the government, Sartaj Aziz, who admitted meeting with the Hurriyat, the timing was ill-timed. He went on record saying that. Wait a minute, sir. Let's not run around in circles as far as that. The secretary-level talks were cancelled, but they can start again. This time, Pakistan has to take the initiative, and let's hope if they're so serious about resolving this issue, whether or not they do. So let's not beat around the same bush and talk about the more relevant issue about these people raising this for the sake of scoring brownie points with the masses, thinking that it is a relevant issue, whereas they forget all the other issues that plague the country. You don't even know, you're not even in control totally as a democratic setup of the entire Pakistan itself, whatever remains right now, whatever is there right now. How are you going to go and stake claim on another territory without even sorting your own house in order, sir?
Anand, I am a Pakistani. I am least pushed. What are the internal dynamics of India? I would only be pushed about internal dynamics of India once it start affecting Pakistan. Now, whatever is happening in
Pakistan's internal dynamics are directly affecting India. Pakistan's internal dynamics or lack of thereof are directly affecting India. And that is why we are asking you this question, sir. Because your own democratic setup does not have control over what the army dictators or what the Taliban or the hardliners have to say.
Who are you in India deciding that who is in control? It is so simple. We have our own system, and in that...
Do you have a system, sir? Do you really believe you have a system is what we are afraid of? Because every day somebody or the other is shooting their mouth off, somebody or the other is garrowing the Parliament Street area, and nobody is doing a thing about it. The Prime Minister is sitting cocooned in one corner hoping it will all die off naturally. So the people don't know what is happening there and who's calling the shots.
Anand, listen to me. I am a student of peace. I have studied peace and conflict. I have done my master's in that. I am studying further. I am now doing MPhil and I am going to do PhD also in this. But remember, the track, the route that you have adopted of sensitizing non-issues over the issue is not leading to peace. This is the wrong route.
Sir,
you don't accept.
Sir, with all due respect, everything that I have asked you today is an issue. Because it concerns what happens as far as the internal dynamics of Pakistan is directly proportional to what happens on our side of the soil. And Rajiv Dogra, I hope you agree with me when I say that.
This question if you
there is a reason why we are asking this question. Why are people like Pervez Musharraf and Bilawal Bhutto allowed to rant about Kashmir like this when they have no relevance themselves in the system? If a Nawaz Sharif raises an issue and a Prime Minister Narendra Modi reverts back, it makes sense. It makes sense, Rajiv Dogra. But people like this, on a given day, at any point in time, say whatever and whenever, why should that be acceptable?
Well, I hope your Pakistani guests now listen to what I have to say, because we've listened long enough to them and we've listened long enough to Musharraf for over 2 decades. Bilawal Bhutto is perhaps immature, learning his ropes in politics, so we need not take him seriously. His father will probably do the necessary corrective with him. But Musharraf is dangerous, and Musharraf is dangerous in the present climate, and I'll tell you the reasons for that. Recently, there was a warship which was being taken over by Taliban, and the exact target, if that warship had been taken over by those Taliban, were an American ship and also perhaps Indian coast or Indian ships. Now that is dangerous and that affects India. What also affects India are 3 tunnels which were recently found on the Indian side of the border.
Yes.
What also affects India are the IEDs which your army regularly plants on the Indian soil. What also affects India are the refusal of Pakistanis to accept requests for flag meetings. So had it been the Indian initiative or Indian provocation, then India would not have done any of these things, including asking for a flag meeting. But the provocation consistently has been from the Pakistani side. And the worrying part is that your High Commissioner here then goes on to defend people like Hafiz Saeed. So there seems to be a pattern, as Anand, you very correctly have said, that there is an incremental increase in provocation and in multiple dimensions from Pakistan. At a time when ISIS is becoming a dangerous reality, not just for Middle East, but also for Afghanistan, Pakistan, and worryingly for India also.
No.
There is also the other aspect that a recently named Al-Qaeda head for South Asia seems to have been transplanted from India into Pakistan. So these are worrying factors. India is not interfering in Pakistani affairs. It is Pakistan which is upping the ante day in and day out. And that's the worrying factor. And what is even more worrying is that a man who should stick to his brandy and cigar in the evening, instead of doing that, Musharraf seems to be driving the Pakistani army chief's agenda consistently, including this latest rant on cross-border.
Where Lieutenant Colonel Shafkat Saeed does not agree, and Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao also has a point to make. Yes, Colonel Shafkat Saeed, and then I'll go across to Air Vice Marshal.
General, I want to very humbly and respectfully, I want to tell you one thing, that Pervez Musharraf never served in Siachen as a brigadier, and it is not possible that a brigadier all at his own in Pakistan can go on offensive without the consent of his higher command. It is not like that. You have a very unfounded opinion on Pakistan Army.
Well, Colonel Shafkat Saeed, just hold on there. Point by point, we'll take the rebuttals. You've made this question at General Shankar Roy Chaudhary. So let him just rebut that point, and then I'll come back to you, sir. I will come back to you. Yes, General Shankar Roy Chaudhary.
Yes. Then Brigadier Pervez Musharraf was commanding the SSG in 1987, I think.
Sir, he never commanded SSG.
1987, the SSG.
He did not command SSG, sir.
88, 89.
Very humbly, sir, he never commanded SSG, sir.
Right. Okay, sir. Now go ahead, Colonel
think he
Shafqat
did.
Saeed.
Anyway,
Was
okay.
SSG, sir. He served, he was an SSG officer, but he never commanded SSG as a brigadier. Sir, now coming to the point, sir.
He was set.
Till the time you have this opinion that keep finding a reason to go back, not to have talk with Pakistan, in bilateral solution, in seeking bilateral solution, please remember that you have to come at equal level.
Colonel Shafqat
If you
Saeed, Colonel Shafqat Saeed, see, again, with you, that's the issue. I hold out to this because every time this is where we end up running around in circles. The point is, you have to agree that timing, that meeting with the Hurriyats or the separatists was ill-timed. Now, that is what derailed the foreign secretary level talks. You can't say whether or not it was on equal terms or not, but that was not acceptable between two countries. And if Pakistan really wanted to talk, it shouldn't have encouraged it. They were actually trying to be a little brazen about going and meeting right in the face of the Indian government. So let's agree to disagree on that and move on from there. Now I'm saying our Prime Minister has said, make the atmosphere conducive. Let's talk. Now, what does Pakistan have to say to that? Does it still have to say Kashmir, rant over Kashmir and, have shelling at the border and these ceasefire violations? Or does it want to say, all right, we will not meet separatists, we will meet the Indian Foreign Secretary and we will meet him in Islamabad, him or her in Islamabad, or we will meet them in in New Delhi. Has Pakistan stood out and said that?
Okay, Anand, I think for your to fulfill your Prime Minister's condition to make the condition conducive is that we should not talk of Kashmir.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. He has only maintained all times saying bum ke dhamakon ke beech mein baatcheet nahi ho sakti. So stop the shelling at the borders, stop the activities, and let's make the atmosphere conducive. And even then, India, sir, we'll run around in circles, Colonel Shafqat Saeed. It will all happen. When Indian government tells Pakistani government don't meet the separatists, the Prime Minister agreed to that. Nawaz Sharif didn't meet the separatists when he came for the Prime Minister's swearing-in ceremony. But your ambassador here, sitting here, Abdul Basit, goes ahead and meets the Hurriyat in the capital. So whose intent are we talking about? We'll continue to run around in circles, sir. The intent has to come from Pakistan. Let's come back to the issue, Air Vice Marshal. Let's come back to the issue, Air Vice Marshal.
Okay, first of all, let me answer this question about warship being taken over Taliban. You should judge what Pakistan government did. At all costs, we killed them and freed the ship because we knew that it can be of threat to the Indian Ocean and the any movement of Indian or any foreign ships there. So that should have been acknowledged as a positive step by Indian government, that we are serious about countering these non-state actors or terrorists or whatever you call them, belonging to whatever group. Number two, fine, our foreign minister admitted to you that the timing was wrong. All right, I agree with that also. What next? It would have been a very good gesture had the two prime ministers met there. I think between the two prime ministers, there is no question of ego because one represents 1.5 billion people, the other represents 200 million people. It is for them, it is for their prosperity. I want to also make one more observation. I meet a lot of people who go to India, come back, and a lot of people from India who come to Pakistan, and when they go back, they return with a changed mind. People in India are not of the opinion that I hear on Indian media. People in Pakistan respect all those visitors. I have a lot of people whom I have met. Manishankar Iyer is the best example. You ask him about Pakistan, he has a different opinion. I wish you bring him on your media and let people with a positive attitude come rather than flaming the already hot atmosphere.
Air Vice Marshal Abid Rao, the people of India don't have an issue with the people of Pakistan. It is the politics. It is the political fraternity and the army and the establishment which is the issue, sir. And it is they who are constantly creating this issue. There is no reason why. Who is allowing, sir, the infiltrators are coming from Pakistan soil into Kashmir, from Pakistan occupied Kashmir into Indian territory. Now, who is facilitating that, sir?
I'm sure what you are saying.
Who's facilitating? It's happening right under the nose of the army, sir. Under the nose of the Pakistan army. Now, who do I say now? What do we say there, sir? These tunnels were not built overnight, right?
Leveling accusation only
sir,
in media.
These tunnels were not built overnight.
Help.
3 tunnels were found. It's on record. Who built these tunnels? How were these tunnels built right under the noses of the Pakistani army? They didn't even know. Sir, then it's a serious problem.
Look, you must understand one thing, that in any given situation, there can be a third group which is trying to destabilize the situation.
Sir, you wipe out that third group from your soil, sir. Because we are calling all those people who work against, who are fomenting terror and creating unrest, we are branding them as traitors, and we are going after them. Do that, sir. Do that. Why doesn't Pakistan do that, sir?
Serious about it, this ship would have gone and done some damage to India, for example. We have done it at all. It took us more than a day, and we had to kill all of them. Our people were killed. So the government is serious about any such element that is there to destabilize Pak-India relationship. We are very serious about this relationship to improve. Please help government of Pakistan in acknowledging all positive things. So that
even God helps those who help themselves. The government of Pakistan has to itself show the temerity to stand up to the army and the others who want to derail the process and show the intentions.
No moment to pull the rug out of the situation.
No,
and creates an embarrassing situation.
Vice Marshal, I have to take a break, but a quick point from General Shankar Roy Chaudhary before we take a break, and then I'll come back to Brigadier Mahalingam. Yes, General Shankar Roy Chaudhary.
Okay. Yeah, the short point is the conversation which I am hearing during this discussion. If you leave Mr. Nawaz Sharif and Mr. Narendra Modi to talk to each other, this will sort itself out. That's the only way to sort it out. The two prime ministers should talk to each other without any background factors at work. What they are, I'm not going to elaborate.
Well, before that, you have to stop people like Pervez Musharraf trying to incite and rant just to become a little more relevant. Now, the other question is there a hidden agenda behind that, Brigadier Mahalingam? Is there any credence to what Rajiv Dogra today is saying, that it's worrying? Is the army listening to the ex-president more than it listens to the nation's prime minister, who's actually appointed the army chief?
Absolutely. As far as you could see that as far as what is happening to Nawaz Sharif, the poor man, doesn't know where he is. The whole thing that is happening within Pakistan is all directed by Pakistan army. Even the United Nations speech which was given, it was a script by Pakistan's army. Therefore, the Pakistan's army will have to control. The government doesn't have a control over the Pakistan army. Whatever is happening as far as the ship being hijacked, the trouble that is happening in Fata and other area, the entire thing is a creation of the Pakistan army and the ISI. This must be understood. And even today, the Pakistan army and the ISI are trying to maintain the LET and HEM and other issues. Similarly, the Pakistan,
Brigadier Mahalingam, the issue
Punjab Taliban is being supported.
Brigadier Mahalingam
now want to go to Afghanistan and create problem.
Brigadier Mahalingam, the issue is our friends from Pakistan will never admit that there is army support being given to these outfits. They will say, how can the army support somebody who is fomenting terror within their own soil? But the fact is, what has the army done to wipe them out? Colonel Shafqat Saeed, final comment from you. We have to wind up, running out of time. We're not taking the break, extending the debate by another 2 more minutes before we wind up. Go ahead, sir.
Pakistan Army's effort against Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan and other groups which are fighting against Pakistan Army in Pakistan, you can find out yourself. But can you tell me something about Technical Support Division, or what was done to it, and what did that inquiry, which was...
Sir, the Haqqani network is still there. The Haqqani network is being supported and funded by ISI. Why don't you acknowledge that?
Gentlemen,
this is very important.
Gentlemen,
this is very important.
Gentlemen, the issue today is Colonel Shafqat Saeed, the issue today is, should people like Pervez Musharraf and Bilawal Bhutto be allowed to stand there and rant about Kashmir when they have no locus standi? And should they be allowed to try and foment and try and create some amount of relevance within the system when they are not the people who we are supposed to engage with? They are not the people who will take the decision. That is the question. And looks like largely the answer is no. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us this evening.